What's up, guys? Welcome to Starling on Cinemas, and that's Cinemas with an S. And today I'll be giving you my review on Doctor Strange. Now, before I begin, if you're new to this video, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, leave a comment on the section below if you have anything to say, and most importantly, watch. Now, Doctor Strange. Doctor Strange centers on the life of a neurosurgeon, Dr. Stephen Strange, self-explanatory, whose life changes forever after a car accident robs him the use of his hands. Now, ironically, it's not from the loss of his hands is not from arthritis. Funny. Now, when traditional medicine fails him, every traditional medicine he uses in the hospital is not enough. He looks for healing and hope in a mysterious enclave called Kamar-Taj. He quickly learns that the enclave is at the front line of a battle against unseen dark forces bent on destroying reality as we know it with the help of Dormmamu, the master of the dark dimensions. Now, before long, Strange is forced to choose between his life of fame and fortune and status, or leave it all behind to defend the world as the most powerful sorcerer in existence. Now, you could compare this to Tony Stark's origin and his character change about leaving his personal life, choosing the life of everybody to save it for the greater good over his life of fame and fortune. Now, the story. Just like Doctor Strange, just like Spider-Man Homecoming and Black Panther, Doctor Strange is just another self-contained narrative. It is about him, the magicians, his personal life in this world in Kamar-Taj and the world of mystical magic, but one in which it is a very traditional and classic origin story. This is the last basic origin story we have gotten out of all the Marvel movies. This is the most recent one. Now, I know Carol Danvers was the last character who was introduced in the MCU recently, but like her origin story, the way hers was told was different, but we're not going to get into that. So anyway, it is the kind of origin story that forces the protagonist to go down a certain path to fix everything in his world about himself. That includes omitting his arrogance and ego out of his life. And this is why, now this is off script. Now this is exactly why the dynamic between Doctor Strange and Iron Man works so well in Avengers Infinity War, because these are two individuals who are very good at what they do and they're very arrogant geniuses. And sometimes they have to push their ego aside to see the bigger picture, to open their eye. Now, this movie, of course, expanded the franchise into the multiverse, introducing the multiverse to audiences and comic book fans, considering that characters like the Ancient One, Baron Mordo, and Wong have mentioned other worlds, and that really isn't a blanket statement. Now, the cast. I just could not help but admire how incredible the casting of Benedict Cumerbatch as the master of the mystic arts is, mostly because of how much the actor resembles the character. Like, even his facial structure is well played and top notch with how he looks in the comics. And it's on the same level how Robert Downey Jr. resembles Tony Stark, almost perfectly. Perfect casting. I just really give a shout out and props to the casting director at Marvel Studios, Sarah. I forgot her full name, but that's okay. So anyway, Benedict Cumberbatch also provided the voice of Dormmamu, and this is no surprise, considering his voiceover work in the Hobbit franchise as Smaug was pretty great and pretty intimidating. Apparently, there was plenty of controversy on Marvel's decision of wanting to cast a Tibetan man in the role of the Ancient One, because that is what he is in the comics. He's a man in the comics. He's a foreigner in the comics. But since that is the character's race in the comics, however, at the time, that was never going to roll well with the movie theater audiences in China, because these movies go worldwide. It's not just America. Like, if you've seen the movie premieres live on YouTube, you know that these movies be premiering everywhere. There are Russian audiences, Indian audiences, and Chinese audiences. And I love those people in India. Those people in India are so enthusiastic. They are hyped from beginning to end. Just by the start of these movies, they get hyped and they stay hyped. So they decided to cast Tilda Swinton in the role instead. And speaking of which, Tilda Swinton's The Ancient One is definitely one of the wisest characters in this franchise, and really helped Stephen to become something much bigger than himself. Because in that scene, I really want to talk about that scene where the Ancient One was talking to Strange about why she did what she did. Because if we saw that twist later in the movie where she was, the reason why she's so immortal and why she's so old is that, well, she's timeless. She's not old physically, but she's wise. You know what I'm trying to say. But the reason why is because she was drawing power from the dark dimension. And she was teaching this lesson to Strange that sometimes you have to break the rules. You have to break the natural laws in order to save the greater good. And this is why Strange went out of his way to use the Time Stone in order to reverse the damage on Earth while obliterating the damage that Dormmamu is doing up there in the dark dimension. And that was a good change of character. Rotten Tomatoes gives Doctor Strange an 89% score. Now, Doctor Strange was such a stunning introduction to the mystical, magical side of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. It had great casting, mind-bending visuals beyond comparison of Inception. If you love Inception better than this as far as the visuals goes, I'm sorry. Smooth character development and more world building. So I will give this movie a 9.1 Essos out of 10. So that is my review on Doctor Strange. You can let me know what you guys think about it in the comment section below. And I'll see you guys next time with my next video. See you later.